Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wumpa Time. This is episode... and we're here with more gaming news.
What?
It's obviously it's our favorite number, dude. We've been looking forward to this number of episodes for a while. You know, duh. You don't remember? Yeah. It's okay. It's okay if you don't remember.
It's so great I didn't remember it.
Yeah, it's... what episode is it? What episode number is it?
40.
40, yeah, 40. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. I don't know why it took you so long to remember, but yeah, episode 40, dude. We've been crapping on Cyberpunk for 40 episodes. Well then,
Stadia, Cyberpunk. What's next?
Let's just keep going with Cyberpunk. So, first thing that kind of caught us all by surprise, and no one ever thought this would happen. Kratos is on the Switch. Kind of. Yeah. So if you load up good old Fortnite right now, you can get yourself a Kratos skin. So you can run around. Kratos can run around with a gun. You could build in Minecraft. It is cursed. I could go on more and more. It just gets more and more cursed.
Dude. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why, and I feel really, really dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I never even put two and two together of imagining Kratos running around with a shotgun.
He's running around with like a rifle or a sniper rifle, and you hear off in the distance like, boy,
boy, bang.
And then, you just fall over and you're like, Kratos got me. If I remember correctly,
God of War is armed and ready.
If I remember correctly, this is the second time Kratos has been in a multiplayer game.
But the other one was Mortal Kombat.
No, okay, I lied. Okay, this is like the fifth. God, wow. Wow, okay. So I was going to say God of War Ascensions, but
right.
I completely forgot about God of War. I forgot about Soul Calibur. I forgot about PlayStation All-Stars.
Was he in Soul Calibur?
He was in Soul Calibur for the PSP, and he was broken.
Oh, okay, for the PSP, okay, because
I
never played Soul
PSP.
Calibur. Yeah, that's where I was kind of thrown off for a second. I was just like, what? I mean, he was busted in PlayStation All-Stars, too.
He was busted more than Meta Knight.
Yeah, there was the three characters that you always saw for PlayStation All-Stars. It was Kratos, Noriko, and the guy from Metal Gear.
Raiden. Yeah, Raiden.
Raiden. Raiden. Yeah. Those three, it was just like, and you lose. You just lose.
Yeah, it was like, I picked Kratos. Okay, so you won this round. So we'll go to the next round.
Yeah, please. But here's the interesting thing. This is where things get a little bit interesting. Is that Kratos was announced, but there's allegedly, one more character that is to be announced. And from rumors and from what we've been hearing, it might be at the Game Awards. And that is Master Chief.
Master Chef, dude. Gordon Ramsay himself is going to be in Fortnite.
Chef John 117. His signature dish, pain. So apparently Master Chief is supposed to be coming to Fortnite as well. Which that makes sense to me. I mean, that's pretty obvious. That was
Kratos is more shocking than Master Chef.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100% a lot more shocking. But what's really interesting is the cross-platform. The fact of you got Master Chief, you got Kratos, and they can be played on either platforms, on Nintendo's platform, on everyone's platforms. Now, where my question is we gotta get a Nintendo representative in here, and I thought, why wouldn't they put maybe Samus?
I was thinking Mario, but I can't think of Mario running around with a shotgun.
Yeah, whee, bang. No, but I think that I would really think that like Zero Suit Samus would be a really, really good skin. Like there you got, and you could just use the default character with the blonde hair and then throw in the Zero Suit, because she's got the arm cannon, so it's going to be kind of hard to use that.
Watch them just like put in Link, and you're like, yeah, okay. All right, I guess, sure, yeah, Link's got it.
Sure. But now, I got a feeling. Hold on, one thing before we continue. The one thing that I think has to tie into all of this, and the reason why it's going to be announced at the Game Awards, was, remember last year during the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley is about this whole thing about everyone's together and everyone the same. Remember how he had Phil Spencer, he had
Oh yeah, he had Reggie and
he had Ryan. Was it Ryan? Ryan, I think it was. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Or was it Yoshida? I can't remember. But they had the three big PlayStation heads on the PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox heads on stage, all kind of talking together. And I got a feeling that this is going to be something that is going to be the whole shtick of the show. Is like, we're all gaming together. In fact, here's Kratos on Fortnite. Here's Master Chief.
Yeah.
And you can play on either console, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's going to be the big quote unquote selling point. And it's just going to turn into a bunch of console warriors, everyone either dressing up as Kratos or Master Chief and seeing who wins at the end.
And not only apparently there was also a rumor that Kratos and John Halo were going to be announced at the same time at the Game Awards. So it was like, oh, we have the Sony rep and the Microsoft rep. And it's reported that Sony leaked the Kratos thing early, which is kind of, for me, it's kind of hard to believe, because for me, I saw it on my PS5 for the first time. By the way, I have a PS5 now. I saw it on my PS5 for the first time. Like a card popped up and it's like, oh, Kratos of Fortnite. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I left. That was it. This was like 2 days ago. And everyone's talking about it now. And I figured everyone's talking about it. I did not see anywhere, or if Sony leaked this, every video game journalist website would be all over Sony leaked the biggest Fortnite reveal ever, or something like that. So if it makes sense if they were supposed to be announced at the same time, because John Halo is already in the files of the game, and so is the little warthog that we saw. So it's already there, so it makes sense. But it's kind of like, maybe. Yeah,
it's kind of up in the air, to be honest. It's in terms of whether or not it was announced at the Game Awards. It's a rumor, and it started from, of course, 4chan, the most trustworthy site ever. But it is interesting. It is interesting to see both, Master Chief and Kratos being in the same game, and just being, I suppose, physically present in the same game is kind of interesting. Speaking of not being physically present.
Oh, hey, yeah, good segue, dude.
Segue. Doom Eternal. Shemp, take this one.
Doom Eternal. You know me. I'm a video game collecting boy. So here's what happened. So Doom Eternal gets announced, right? Yep. It gets announced with a Switch version. Everyone's like, sick. All right. Doom was pretty impressive on the Switch. I think Panic Button did the port, and it was really good. The fact that it was running portably is amazing. And then Doom 2 gets announced for Switch. Everyone's like, okay, it makes sense. This is going to be pretty cool. Game comes out, except for the Switch, and they're like, oh, we're going to do the Switch version later. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, that's fair. It's been over a year, I think. Or did Doom Eternal come out this year?
Doom Eternal came out this year, but it was earlier this year, like Q1 or beginning of Q2.
Okay, so if it was this year, it's been almost a year. And it was recently announced by either Bethesda or id Tech that it's no longer getting a physical release. And the game is I think maybe 30 gigs. And with compression, you could easily get that down to 15 gigs. So I'm assuming either they didn't want to do the compression, it wouldn't work compressed that hard, they don't want to manufacture the cartridges that big, or they just don't care. Now, my thing is, I originally thought that they were going to do what they did with Control in Resident Evil 7, where you stream it to the Switch via dedicated servers. But they've already put this work into producing the port. So that would just be a lot of money wasted. So obviously they have the port. And I assume they don't want to do a code of the box edition like they did with Mortal Kombat and all Fortnite. Anything Fortnite gets the code in the box edition.
Yeah. You see, the only thing that I can think of is, because I remember I watched a breakdown of how pricing goes in terms of producing different stuff, and it's been known that unfortunately the Nintendo Switch cartridges are much more expensive than the Blu-ray discs.
Yeah.
And so there's been, and this has been a trend that we've been seeing in a lot of companies in terms of how they are producing the games and how they're being printed, where they don't want to spring for the cartridge cost, because as the cartridge gets bigger, because you only have only set sizes for cartridges. Because I think it goes 8, 16, 32, and there was supposed to be a 64, but that one still hasn't come out yet, right?
So that one's actually in Japan, because one of the Dragon Quest games actually came out on it, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. People in chat or comments, please do let me know if that's incorrect.
Yeah, because I know that that's been either prototyping, or it's only been in very select few games, because a 64 gigabyte card, that's expensive to mass produce on. That is very expensive. Oh, yeah. So what's been happening is studios that have been creating either budget titles or whatnot, they've been springing for the 8 gigabyte card and then just making the rest a downloadable patch. Perfect example, Spyro Reignited. Mm-hmm. Spyro couldn't fit on the 8 gigabyte cartridge, and so I think Spyro was like 16 gigs, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty small, considering a Switch game.
Yeah. And considering like it was 3 games, and from considering it's 3 games, and considering how the original optimization of the game was on the mainline consoles, but what happens is that you also can't fill that SD card max. Like, it says 32 gigs, you can't put 32 gigs exactly on there.
Exactly.
You have to put like 30. You have to put 30 gigs, or sorry, for a 16 gigs, you have to put like 15 or 14 to allow a little bit of space, a little bit of allocated room. And it's the same with the Blu-ray discs as well. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we are getting these awkward, and I think it also has to deal with maybe like an awkward size. Like, for example, they compressed Spyro down to, I think it was just over 16 gigs. That means that you can't put it on a 16 gigabyte card. That would mean you have to put it on a 32 gigabyte, right?
So that you're mass producing this 32 gigabyte card, which costs more just for an extra gigabyte of data.
Exactly. That's exactly. And I think that is the main, because you got companies nowadays that are releasing games on 2 discs, that or at least at the end of the era. Prime example, Red Dead Redemption 2. And Red Dead Redemption 2 came out on 2 discs, but the thing is that if I remember correctly, the cost for printing the disc is $1. It's $1.
Yeah, it's very cheap for DVDs. Now, I actually have an interesting thing about that, because me working at a game store, I get all the new games, and we got Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, the Ultimate Edition for the PS5 and the Series X / Xbox One. And on the Xbox side of things, it comes on 2 discs, like 1 disc, 2 disc, and that's it. On PS5, it comes on a 4K Blu-ray and a code. So what it is on the disc, it's Mortal Kombat 11, Aftermath, I think the Ultimate DLC, I'm not entirely sure, and then a code for the bonus DLC or the Ultimate DLC. Right. Whereas on the Xbox side of things, it's all on the disc, and that's because the Xbox is still using Blu-rays, while the PS5 is using 4K Blu-rays.
Right. And the 4K Blu-rays are more expensive. That's also could contribute as to the reason why the price of games have gone up as well. But that's very interesting, actually. That is actually a very interesting point there, in terms of having the entire game on 2 discs, and then the PlayStation version is coming with the game, and you have the game, but to get all that extra stuff in the Ultimate, it comes as a DLC code.
Yeah, same thing with Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, because you have 2 discs, and then you have the code for like the 3 Aftermath skins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. But going back to about Doom Eternal and the fact that they're not having a physical, the fact that they're not having a physical release, that is for the Switch. I want to say that that this is like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, but it's been happening a lot, and I feel like that this is the nature of what's going to be happening with a lot of Switch games, because of those bloody cartridges, because like I said, at one point, Xbox is going to go over to the 4K DVDs as well, or the 4K Blu-rays as well, that PlayStation is doing right now.
Yeah, once the Xbox One is out of commission, maybe 3 years from now, they may switch over to the 4K discs, just so the Xbox will be like, I can't play these.
Yeah, exactly. No, that you're exactly right. That's exactly what's going to be happening, I think, because it's just the inevitability of technology, and that's it.
Yeah.
But what confuses me is that you have Nintendo having their own. I don't want to say proprietary, because the cartridges aren't necessary. Are they proprietary to the Switch, or are they?
Yeah, the cartridges only work on the Switch.
Right. But no. I mean, is there another cartridge that has a form factor that's exactly the same as a Switch, or is it proprietary?
Like, are you asking if other like the I guess the 3DS and the Vita are kind of similar, but they're the Switch cartridges are just thicker?
Well, no. What I mean is what I'm meaning is that like the technology that's used within the Switch cartridge.
Oh yeah. I think that's like I think the patent for those cartridges and the technology inside of it is specific to Nintendo.
Yeah, of course. Now, here's the thing: is that when you have something like that costs more money because it's not mass produced. I could go out to actually a really interesting, a little random, but actually kind of tying into the Kratos thing. There was a really interesting documentary about them creating God of War, and at the end of it, you see them. They actually have a burner, a giant burner to make to burn the game, or to create the game and burn it onto a disc, and the God of War Gold Edition, the gold disc, is a verbatim disc. It's just a disc that you can go to Best Buy and buy.
It's on like it's on like a specific type of Blu-ray disc that you can buy burnable Blu-ray discs, but these are specifically manufactured for games going gold.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you can buy those though, that like they are manufactured for like there's a specific disc that PlayStation says, hey, use these discs to be able to go gold, but they are consumer discs that you can go and buy. They're mass produced. It's not hard to find. Nintendo's, on the other hand, is not. Nintendo's is only them, and the thing is that drives up the cost as well. And I understand Nintendo trying to push for the word isn't integrity, but they're trying to go for innovation. Yeah,
you could say innovation, or you could you could say ego. Nintendo, like we've said this before, Nintendo is the Apple of video games, where it's you know the name, you're paying for the name.
Exactly. And it's like Apple's the only one that uses the Lightning while everyone else is using USB-C.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, it's like, why don't we just go to USB-C? It's more consumer friendly. It's better than Lightning, and it could be bought anywhere. It's just more convenient for the consumer. It's like no.
That's ours. That's our cable. And it's like, Nintendo, why don't you go back to discs? Like, they're cheaper to manufacture. You can't lose them. They look better on a shelf. Well, cartridges look cooler for us, and you have to go through us to make them. So I mean,
right. and I completely also completely understand the concept of like, okay, we want on a cartridge. Okay, there are other mass-produced cartridges out there that you can use that are cheaper for the developer, so they can actually fit their entire game on the cartridge and not think about having to not try to how much is the bottom line and stuff. And they're always going to push for digital. Why do you think that they have these massive digital sales? Because the revenue from digital games are much higher than physical games. So Doom Eternal having no physical version, all it's going to do is just going to drive up, because people turn around and they say, okay, they're going to be losing sales because people are not going to be able, not everybody has the capability to be able to download these games. Here's the thing, the amount of money that they're making, the additional cash that they're making from their revenue, because if I remember correctly, there was a breakdown where it was like the company makes $25 off of the game in revenue after everyone is paid. $25. That's because you got packaging, you got shipping, you got art, you got promotion, you got the disc, you got all these things. Well, you're removing 3/4 of the cost of why it's costing $45 to make.
And the thing is that this also seals its fate in terms of video game preservation, because if like Doom Eternal on the Switch is digital only, so
Yep.
30 or so years from now, when the servers are shut down for this system, that's it. It's gone. It's gone forever. And with games like we mentioned, Mortal Kombat on the Switch, Spyro on the Switch, all those even Spyro on like the Xbox One, all those games sealed their fates with how they were released because they require internet to complete the game. If you don't have internet, if the servers are down, if you can't do anything to get what you need, then that's it. You just have a disc with like less than a fraction of a game. Because I initially thought for Spyro that on PS4 at least and Xbox One, I thought it was like all of 1 and then parts of 2 and 3. I was wrong. It is only 1, and you have to download the entirety of 2 and 3. Whereas on the Switch, it is part of 1, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, to people saying, oh, well, 30 years from now, who cares? The thing is that there are games that were created like 30 years ago, and we're starting to lose those.
Yeah.
We're losing them. There are, because some games, they weren't that popular, and there wasn't the technology to do an ISO rip, and they're gone. They're literally gone.
That's what you say about the Wii. That was the most recent one where everything just kind of went poof, gone. Everything about it's gone.
Yeah, and these things are going away. And the thing is that it's going to start happening more and more and more as each generation passes. At first you're like, oh yeah, we lost the games for this console. It's like, okay, I never played that console, whatever. But 10 years from now, you're going to start hearing games are like, yeah, we lost these games that were made on the PlayStation 1. And you're going to be like, oh crap, PlayStation 1 games are gone. Like, they are gone. There's no way that we can find them. No one has them online. We can't find them anywhere. They weren't that popular, and you're going to start hearing games that are like, oh wow. And then it's going to escalate as more time comes on, because there are games that were only digital only. And
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Exactly.
Everyone's arguing like, oh, it came back, but guess what? It's still digital. Like, there's still no physical release.
Yeah, and it came back, but the thing is that that's not for every case. Not every company is going to be able to bring the game back, because some companies go defunct. If the company goes defunct, then you're done. That's it. The game's gone, right?
And that's like, you could say the same thing with like all the old Crash and Spyro games. Those are probably like, those are all published by Sierra, and they were developed by other companies, and then Activision bought the rights. So it's kind of a legal limbo right now with who owns who and what has the authority to install what and all that, yada yada. It's just a nightmare, and I want to say I hope games don't keep doing this going forward, but it's looking like it, because it's just easier for them, and people don't understand the importance of video game preservation.
Yeah, and speaking of things not going forward or well,
who likes Monster Hunter? I guess, sure, whatever.
So Monster Hunter is getting a movie. Another video game adaptation. And it's actually already been released in China. But
that was quick.
that was very quick. So it was released in China, and it's getting review bombed. Not because of and I was reading too, apparently the game is getting review bombed too, not just the
really?
The movie,
oh no.
But the games as well, because they're getting review bombed. Now, is it because the movie is bad? I don't know, but there's definitely a scene that is.
Oh yeah. To give people some background, this movie was announced like earlier this year or last year, and it's by the same guy who did the Resident Evil movies that no one liked. That he starred his wife in the leading role. And he's doing the same exact thing with Monster Hunter, where it's a video game movie that he bought the rights to because it's cheap in his country, and he put his wife in the leading role. And the premise is like the U.S. Navy goes to Monster Hunter World. That's all I know.
It's pretty rough.
It's pretty bad.
Now, what happened that's getting review bombed? Is it the quality of the movie? It could be bad, but no. There's one specific thing that happens in the movie that's being attacked, and that was a racist joke.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
a
mentioned.
little racy joke that just kind of like it was a racy joke that
Was stupid.
it would like I don't know. It's just weird because it came out in China, and then it made a racist Chinese joke in China. I don't know what they were thinking.
Dude, could you imagine? Here's a funny thing too: is that it's subtitled. Could you imagine what the localization people when they were trying to subtitle this? It's like, what do we put here?
They're like, what do we do? Do we just let this happen?
Yeah, it's like, man, like this was such a poor taste joke. It's like this, and the writing. It wasn't even like remotely funny. Like
no, not at all.
like it wasn't even remotely funny, and it makes no sense. It's not like one of those things where you can even understand the context to it. It's not even the fact that it's hard to explain. It's like, because we're trying to be careful here because we're not going to say it.
We don't want to say it.
We don't want to say anything bad, but we're just sitting here. I'm just like, wow. How dumb are you to put this into a movie, and especially for airing in China first, and you put a Chinese slur in there? Are you serious?
If you just have to go see it, the Twitter user Daniel Ahmad, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. That's at Z huge EX. He posted it saying great writing in the Monster Hunter movie, and it. Oh boy! Like we don't want to stay on this topic very long because of the subject matter. It just made the rounds, and I couldn't believe that actually happened.
We looked at it and we were we watched it and we couldn't believe it. We're like, are you serious? This is so stupid. And but not even just about the. I was just about to say, because I knew what you were going to segue into, because I was up. Okay, hold on. Mm-hmm. Before we hop on this segue, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. military, driving in the desert, and it's a Monster Hunter movie. What?
They just go to Monster Hunter World, dude, and then they're like, wow, they're monsters. Who would have thought?
And I'm like, I thought Sonic broke the video game curse. Instead of rolling into the Monster Hunter World in tanks. Speaking of tanks.
Yeah, speaking of tanks. Oh, you did a better one than me. Man, that was good.
This one's ridiculous.
You can go. Oh, okay, I'll do it. No problem, man. Okay, so you guys know World of Tanks, right? It was that game that came out, I guess, and
World of Tanks.
World of Tanks. And I remember it came out like during the 360 era, because I remember this coming out, but we still sell it. There's a physical copy of that game on the 360.
There is?
Yeah, and it just says World of Tanks Xbox 360 edition, and there's like 5 different requirements on the bottom of the box. Like, you require internet, you require storage, you require Xbox Live Gold, you require World of Tanks account, you require this and that and that. And it's just like, I just want to play a video game, dude. So World of Tanks comes out. If you haven't played it, it's a world, and there's tanks, and you pick your tank, and that's it. So, I guess they started taking the Fortnite route, or they were like, what if we just took famous things and put them in the game? Now, you could be thinking, oh, I guess they put in John Halo, right? They put in John Spider-Man, maybe some John Kratos, you know? They put in, no, we got Chuck Norris in World of Tanks, and my first question was, is he the tank? Can I play as the Chuck Norris? No, he's just there.
Roundhouse kicks.
Oh, okay, and yeah, he's just there. He's just there.
Like,
that's all. That's all the news is. He's just there.
We had to mention it.
There's no other scenario where I get to talk about this again. Chuck Norris is in World of Tanks, World of Chucks, World of Norris, World of
Chucks.
Moving on. That's all I needed to say.
Moving on. Now, you mentioned earlier you got yourself a PlayStation 5.
Yes, I did. I just kind of happened upon it because, like, one day, so to like give a little grand scheme of things, in Texas, in mid to southern Texas, there is a super grocery store called H-E-B. It is massive. If you live in Texas, you know what H-E-B is. It's that big. And there's H-E-B and there's H-E-B Plus. Now, Plus has like the little extra aisles, like the toys and the entertainment aisle, and sometimes they have clothing. And then the other H-E-Bs are specifically grocery stores. So my fiance works at one, and she texted me and she was like, "Hey, we got a PS5." And I was like, "Nani? What?" So she's like, "Yeah, we got a PS5. It's here, yada, yada, yada. Come to the store right now." And we live like, let's say a max of 15 to 20 minutes away from the one that she works at. So I'm driving, dude. I'm going 80 and a 40. I'm trying to get there. I'm going as fast as I can. And as soon as I get to the store, I get a text saying, "Hey, we sold it." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, so one of the employees bought it." And I was like, "Cool." So I turn right around and I head back home. And then she was like, "Check the one that's near our apartments." And I was like, "Fine, whatever." So I'm calling them and I'm getting hung up on and I'm getting redirected. And I'm like, "This sucks. They're not going to have it. Whatever." So I go there just to look. I go to the entertainment center. Nothing's there. I see an employee and I'm like, "Hey, do you have any PS5s? I'm sorry to ask, but do you have any PS5s?" And she goes, "Let me go check." So she goes to the back. She's gone for 20 minutes. And I'm like, "What's happening?" And I see her waddling over with this massive box, like this giant white box. She's leaning all the way to the left to carry. And I'm like, "Oh my God, is that an anvil? What is that?" And she goes, "Here you go." And I was like, What do you mean, here you go?" She goes, "Yeah, here you go. We got one." Okay. So I bought a PS5. And I got a PS5, and I have been testing the ever-living heck out of it. I have been doing all my stupid, dumb tests that no one's ever going to do. And I wanted to share some of that before I get into my experience with it. So, you know how I said I wanted to pop in a game that was delisted just to see what the PS5 would do? Yeah. So I got my copy of Amazing Spider-Man 2 completely delisted on the store. Never got any patches whatsoever. So it is vanilla as vanilla can get. I pop it in, and the interesting thing is it installed no problem. But you know when you highlight any game, PS4, PS5, whatever, it puts a background image of the game. Yeah. Even like Jak and Daxter, if you download that, it has a custom picture for Jak and Daxter. With this game, it just showed the default PS5 background with nothing at all. It was very odd. So I launched it, and then whenever I get into the game, I see a message that I've never seen before, where it popped up in the title screen, and a message popped up in the game that said, "Downloadable content or the packages of the files may have been damaged or corrupt. Please re-download them." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? I just installed the game. I don't know what's going on." And the game's delisted, so there's no DLC. Right. You can't get anything for the game at all. So I don't know what this was about. So the game benefits from the 5. It loads faster, like a lot faster, and everything about the game is as better as it can be with the steaming pile of game that this game is. Right. So then I pop in Spyro, no benefits whatsoever. It is still base PS4 load times. The resolution's the exact same. Nothing is happening. So I'm sitting here thinking, how did this 2018 release have no support, but this delisted 2016 pile of garbage video game benefits from this new console? I don't understand.
The only thing that I could think of is, in my mindset, what I'm thinking is that there is like 2 mindsets for developing a game. And I'm thinking there's okay, let it run uncapped and let everything run as uncapped as possible to try to pull as much power as possible to be able to do whatever. And then there's other games that have a cap on them for some reason. It might be like, okay, it overloads the console or overheats it or whatever. And so they put a cap on it so it doesn't happen.
So here, that's understandable, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 is capped.
Is it capped?
It's kept at 30 frames per second.
Okay, is it still 30 when you play it?
Yeah, it is locked at 30. You can't go past it unless you play on PC, and you have to disable VSync in order to get 60. But on every console, it is locked to 30, and it never goes past that. And it's weird because going back to, I guess, kind of tying into Crash, this is a Beanox game.
Yeah, it's.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm very perplexed by how all these different games work and all the different engines and how they're interacting with the different games. Like, for example, if you saw Witcher, for example, there was an example that they posted on the Xbox Twitter site, and it was of fast traveling between it was fast traveling, and the thing was that the game was unoptimized. Obviously, there was no patch.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
did fast travel, and it benefited from the hard drive, but so much so that when Geralt would load in, he would pop into an empty space, and then everything else would blip in.
Yeah, like an Unreal game. Yeah, but no,
Yeah,
not
right.
Unreal.
Yeah, but it's like there was no assets. You see him kind of like load in, and he lands in a voidness of space, and then all of a sudden, like, pop, everything comes in, and because the game wasn't prepared for that type of hard drive, and it's not optimized. And it's interesting how some games just are straight. They're great. They are just improved 100%. They're good. They're ready to go. Like, for example, Crash Bandicoot 4, the frame rate on Crash 4 is so
60.
much better.
Yeah, it's
Lock
so good.
60.
I did notice that the load times are like slightly faster, but nothing to write
they're a
home
lot
about.
fast. No, for me, they were a lot faster. I did a test comparing the PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 was wicked fast.
It was like PS5 was like what, 5 seconds faster? Was that right?
Mine was compared to the Series X or compared to
the PS4.
PS5.
The PS5 and PS4.
Mine was almost like 10 seconds. It was almost
10 seconds faster. Okay. So I may have had some problems, which I'm going to get into in a second, because I had a lot of problems. But I don't know if this means anything to you, but I'm looking at it, and Beanox for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they use the Goliath engine. I don't know if they still use that. I don't know if
I
other...
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if any other games, because so far I'm seeing on PC Gaming Wiki that Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, all by Beanox, use Goliath on PC, but I don't know what other games use it. But let's get into the problems that I was having. First off, I love the console. I adore it. I am playing.
I gotta interrupt you one thing though. What was your reaction when you opened that thing up and saw the size of it?
When I saw the size, I was like, where am I gonna put this? I have an entertainment center with 3 shelves, and I had to completely wipe the second shelf just to put it on there. That's where all of my controllers went, and I was like, this looks like a Pogger's face, but on my entertainment center. And then I opened the box, and I was like, there's the McDonald's drink tray coaster things. Awesome. I love it. So what I did was I installed a plethora of games to try them out. I was having a lot of fun, and the first issue that I had translated to other issues where I bought the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales, which means I got the remastered Spider-Man. And first off, you know how we reported that you couldn't transfer PS4 saves of Spider-Man to the PS5, and everyone else was saying that too?
Yeah.
You can. Like, there's just an option to transfer it. I don't know where this confusion went from. I don't know why every journalist was saying that you couldn't. There's just a button. It just says transfer PS4 save. I don't get it. But when I installed it, I was installing the game and I was doing some other stuff. And when I came back to play it, it said, please insert disc. And I was like, what? There is no disc. It's digital only. It turns out the PS4 thought I was trying to play... The PS5 thought I was trying to play the PS4 version, even though I downloaded the PS5 version. Like, it says Spider-Man Remastered, so I know it's a PS5 game. And when I select it, it says, please enter the disc, and then it says PS4 on the top. And I'm like, what?
Did you download the save? Did you download the save file for the Spider-Man PS4?
No. So the save file downloads through the game, not through the PS5. Like it uploads to a Spider-Man cloud, and only the game can access that. So I brought over, I didn't bring over all my saves because that was 5 gigs, and I was like, I only need the ones I play. So I got every single one besides Spider-Man because I already uploaded it to the cloud. And when I downloaded it, it said it thought it was a PS4 version. And I thought that was weird, so I deleted it and installed it again, and it worked that time. And I've been playing it, and it's been perfectly fine. Yesterday, I brought it to work since I work at a game store, and no one's been able to see it. So I brought it to work so everyone can play it. We popped in Demon Souls at the store since I don't have a copy. We popped it in, played it for a little bit. I showed everyone Astro's Playroom, which, by the way, awesome game.
Seriously, don't sleep on it.
Astro's Playroom is really good. And then I popped in Spider-Man so everyone could see Spider-Man. And then Activision sent me a code for Call of Duty. So I downloaded Call of Duty. So just to feel the triggers. I wanted to feel the haptic feedback of the triggers. So I downloaded Zombies, and the owner was there, so I let him play Zombies. He was like, oh, that was cool. So then he exits the game, and then my coworkers come in for their shift. I'm like, hey, play Astro. They play Astro for like an hour, and then he's like, oh, go get Call of Duty. I was like, I already have it installed. So I was like, oh, go play Call of Duty. So we go to play Call of Duty, and it's just missing. It's just gone off my hard drive. But I go to my game library, gone. I go to the main menu, gone. I go to system storage to delete games, and it's there. It gives me the option to delete it, but it's completely absent. So we connect to the internet, and it pops up, and I'm like, oh, that was weird. So then I go to select it, and it asks me, do you want to download this game? And I was like, it's already downloaded. It's on my hard drive. Weird. So we end up letting it download again. So it's duplicating the files of Call of Duty again onto my hard drive just so we could play Zombies again. So we get that done, and it plays Zombies, and I go to my system storage, and now I have 2 installs of Black Ops Cold War on PS5. Not the PS4 and the PS5 version, just the PS5 version, twice. I don't know.
Why do these things always happen to you, Shemp?
I don't know.
Like, dude, like, okay, Shemp will post, like, get a game, and he'll, like, start playing it, and it could be the most well-polished game, and the game will just explode in Shemp's hands.
I remember he got Ghost of Tsushima one. Yeah.
He got Ghost of Tsushima, one of the most polished games I've played, and then he's posting, like, all these glitches that he's encountering of his character just yeeting into the abyss, like... And I'm just like, I always feel bad recommending literally anything to Shemp because it somehow always explodes in his hands. And I always thought that it was me. I thought it was me, that I was the jerk. I was just like, hey, go try this game. This game's really good. He's like, oh, sick. And he goes and he buys it. And then the game's busted. And he's like, why does this game suck so much? And I'm like, I'm sorry to recommend it. But it doesn't suck. I'm just starting to slowly realize it's just you, Shemp.
Yeah, it's just me. I just keep breaking things.
You should become a QA tester, and you would be like the lead boss in like 2 weeks because you would literally like grab the controller and somehow delete System 32 on the console. I don't know how you do it.
All the new guys are like, so what do you do when you test consoles? Oh, so I just pick up the controller and then it just breaks. So what you got to do is you got to pick it up and then break it again.
I don't get it. It's like every game that you buy brand new.
I was the one who told you when Tony Hawk came out. I was like, hey, by the way, if you leave it on the title screen, it gets desynced. And you were like, how do you find this out?
Yeah, like how are you breaking these games? Like it makes no sense whatsoever. And I thought it was me. I'm like, do I have just a crappy taste in video games? No, it's just Shemp breaking everything.
I just keep breaking stuff, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. But okay. Besides me breaking everything I play, I downloaded some stuff. I've been having fun. It's great for fun. While I was at the store, I popped in a PS1 game and a 2 game and a 3 game just to see what it would do. And I popped in the PS1 game and it just spun for like 10 minutes, and it was like, I don't know what this is. And I popped in a PS.
What is this ancient disc you have put on?
Ew, fragile discs, icky. So then I pop in a PS2 game, immediately knows what it is, and it's like, I can't play that. I pop in a PS3 game, immediately, I can't play that. But with the PS1 game, it was like, I don't know what this is. What is this? This is icky, dude.
What is this ancient archaic technology? What is?
And can I just say, I've been playing Astro's Playroom, and like it's so cute. All these PlayStation references, and it's like, wow, Sony, I'd love to play those games.
Yeah. Wow, you seem to remember a lot of these games. Too bad that you haven't implemented them recently.
It's like, can I backwards compatibility, please? And they're like, no.
Okay, sure.
Hey, remember Twisted Metal? Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so do we. Period.
I sure wish I could play them.
Oh my gosh. So now we're gonna move on to my experience with something, kind of as a work in progress review. I should be making a video about it hopefully next week by the time I finish it. So Ubisoft sent me a review code for Immortals Phoenix Rising. It is that game that was originally called Gods and Monsters, the one that everyone's like, oh, this looks awesome, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's Immortals Phoenix Rising, and everyone was just like, why?
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, when I saw commercials for it on YouTube, I was like, is this a mobile game? Oh, no, it's Ubisoft.
Dude, that's exactly what I thought. So, but I wanted to give this game a fair shake. I really did. And I'm like, okay, this is what, like, Ubisoft's new IP in a long time. That isn't shooty, bang, bang, stabby, stab, or some other kind of combination of both. This is something that was completely new. It was like, okay, I want to see what Ubisoft has in store for this. This is going to be interesting. And my experience with it has been a mixture of confusion and positivity.
That's good, I think.
Exactly. That's exactly my statement on it right now. So here's the biggest thing. You get into it. The graphics are, they're good. They run at 60 frames and they're decent. They're fine. Here's the thing though. If you've played Breath of the Wild, you already know what the game is like.
So it's just another Breath of the Wild.
Kind of. Definitely at first. When you first start, man, is it ever just straight up Breath of the Wild. They literally have... Okay, so and as I was playing, there were mechanics about Breath of the Wild that I forgot that are in this game. I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. There's this. So I think the biggest ripoff, and this is one of the biggest ripoffs, is that you get blessings from gods, and one of them is called Aphrodite's Embrace. So, do you know what? Do you know what it does?
What does it do?
Every 20 minutes, if you take a lethal blow that kills you, it resurrects you.
Oh, just like Zelda.
And I was just but wow. This is where I started laughing. Mipha's Grace, Aphrodite's Embrace, they rhyme.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on, dude.
I was like, are you serious? So there is so many aspects that are just directly ripped from Breath of the Wild. That's the thing. There's so many. The climbing animation, ripped from Breath of the Wild. Now, there's a bunch of aspects that have been used in a whole bunch of other games, but the thing is that it's done so similar to Breath of the Wild that the mechanic all of a sudden is just tied to Breath of the Wild. Now,
yeah.
At first, I was going to... I finished Aphrodite. There's different gods that you have to go help. There's 4 gods, kind of like the 4 divine beasts that you have to help. And there is a evil Titan that's red in the center that has big red volcano that looks just like Calamity Ganon.
But it's not. But it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this game. There is so many aspects. I'm like, this is exactly like Breath of the Wild, and I hate it. And the one that I literally verbally said, "Oh, come on," is that it's the ball. There's these rifts, and in those rifts, you enter this galactic Tartarus place, and it's exactly like the puzzles the chambers, the trials. You know, all the different things throughout the map that you visit to go do puzzles, and then you get a little thing at the end that boosts your stamina or your health. Yeah, it's exactly that. That's sick. Exactly what it is. And you enter in the rift, and you do a puzzle, and they even have the ball into the whole puzzles.
Come on.
They have the, you know how you had the Sheikah slate that allowed you to be able to have the magnetic thing where you could lift things up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that. It's called Hercules Gauntlet, where you pick things up with magical powers.
Come on.
Dude, it is. I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous now. This is so dumb. This is just a rip of Breath of the Wild. Instead of having your glider, you now have wings, and
okay, so
glide.
like we've all heard of Genshin Impact, or
Oh yeah, no, we played it at PAX when we went this year.
What, Genshin Impact? Or
yeah.
I don't know if this is too inappropriate, but everyone's calling it Breast of the Waifu. Because it's exactly what you think it is.
But this is worse than that.
So it's more of a direct copy.
I will say like, oh yeah, how to tame horses. You creep up to them very carefully.
You jump on them.
You jump on them.
Oh, you jump on them.
Yay.
Yay.
So I got through the first god, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to call it and start my review. But as I continued to play, things started to change. And I started to see where they were going with it. They were definitely not hiding the fact that this game is massively inspired by Breath of the Wild, but they started to take a lot of the critiques that Breath of the Wild had and fixing them. For example, the weapon durability, that's not a thing. You just have your weapons. That's it. They don't break.
Oh, thank God. I actually really like that.
Yeah. Then with your glider, instead of just gliding, you also can get an upgrade to where you can boost, where you hold square and the wings like flutter. You don't have as much of a drop, but you shoot forward faster. So you can zip to locations really quickly. There's different abilities that are different. Like you can pull out a giant hammer, you can use an axe, you can use a sword, and you can swap out the swords for different swords that all have different abilities. And they all have different stats. They all do the same amount of damage, but it's like, okay, if you dodge, you gain plus 22% damage. Or, hey, if you drink a potion, you have plus 10% movement speed. And then what happens too is that, let's say you find a sword that you really like, but you don't like the look of it, you can change the look of that sword to look like another sword that you have. So it's like, okay. So it's like, let's say you find this amazing armor that you love, but the stat you hate its stats. It's okay. You can swap the stats with another piece of armor as long as you have it unlocked. And there's a lot less rifts. Like, remember how in Breath of the Wild, it was like every corner you turned, there was those trials. They were literally everywhere.
Yeah.
There's more like in each area, there's more like 4. So you stumble upon them. It's like, okay, so you're not doing rifts all the time. Yeah. And so in terms of gameplay development, I'm like, okay. And also you can tame different horses. And what's really cool is that you don't have to whistle for them. You hold triangle and you just jump up, cast a spell, and the horse appears below you instead of waiting for it to come.
Yeah, waiting for it to come in. So it's kind of like, I think you could do that in Breath of the Wild. Like, there was something you could get to where you whistle and it just appears next to you.
Right, but no, this one's like literally like as you're running and you hold triangle, your character just jumps in the air and just the horse just boof, like magic dust appears and you're on the horse. Like it's a boom, you're there. You're on the horse. And also too, you can get different horses and you can you usually hit pause and you can change your look of your horse, and horses have different staminas and different abilities. I just found one that has wings, and now when I jump off of things, it glides down, which is kind of cool. I think it does, at least. I just got it. So it glides down. And also too, what's cool too is that how in Breath of the Wild, if you jump too high and you land, your horse can die. In this, that doesn't happen. If you jump too high, if it gets to a point where the horse would die, the horse just disappears in dust, and then you can activate your wings.
So it just kind of puffs away.
Yeah. So now in terms of story, the story is like a bad Greek sitcom. It's really bad. It's
I figured. Yeah.
Imagine like this game required a laugh track, and that's what the writing is like. It is just, it's painful. That
sounds pretty good, actually.
It's like, okay, I feel like that they were trying to go for a Greek satire. Like, that was the whole point, is that it's a satire of Greek mythology. And while, sometimes it has its moments. It's too much. Like imagine every line that someone says is trying to be some sort of a punchline to a joke, and it's like, come on, man. Like we can be more than this. You could still be a humorous game and have serious moments, or it's like Hermes is annoying. Zeus is the most obnoxious, and they have stoner jokes and drunk jokes, and I'm like,
yeah, we're relatable.
Yeah, it's like, man, this is really, really annoying, and if this could stop now, that would be fantastic. And now it's also narrated by Prometheus. He's like telling your story, and Zeus is like making comments about it. Like I'll give you one comment to give you the bar of quality. Is the game starts off, he goes, on the shoreline there was someone who had died, or the entire ship had died but them. This person's name was Phoenix. And you hear Zeus interject, say, huh, Phoenix, what a stupid name. Sounds like something that you would name a bird that's on fire. And I'm like,
can we stop? Can we stop, please?
That is the quality of like writing that this is. It's like,
I'm okay, man. I'll just skip all the cutscenes, man. I don't need to know what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's really annoying. So I'm still playing it. I still want to give it its fair crack. It has its really high moments. It has its low moments. But it's not bad so far. Now, last week we had your conspiracy corner with the Call of Duty harboring your entire hard drive.
Oh yeah.
Now it's my turn to put on this tinfoil hat. Now, I don this tinfoil hat, and I claim and I say from the top, this is tinfoil hat theory time, 150%. If you follow me on Twitter, you may have already heard about this, but here we go. We're about to go really in depth with this.
TGE Conspiracy Corner.
Here we go. So this is like 100% full on wacko theory. So recently, Crash Bandicoot on November 30th. So has it really been like a week since that was posted? My gosh. So
Good
anyway,
Lord.
Yeah, we got they posted a 30-second like trailer that was really, really cute of Coco playing Uncharted 4. Now, why this is so cute is because of the fact that there was an Easter egg in Uncharted 4 of them playing Crash 1. And now in Crash Bandicoot 4, we have Coco playing Uncharted 4. It all really is just, it all works on it, is all really cute. Now,
and for people wondering, this is my first time hearing this. I did not keep up with this, so I'm on the other side of the conspiracy corner right now.
Right. So, now, in the 30-second trailer, everyone thought it was just a cute little thing, and that was it. There was nothing else. It was just cute. But there's some people, including myself, caught some interesting little details. So the biggest detail is in where it's located, where they're playing the game. It's not at their beach house where we see them where the game opens up in Rude Awakening. It's actually in the Rude Awakening bonus level, where at the end you see the couch with Tana's face on it. That's where they're playing the stuff.
Okay.
So everything is the same, but there's some differences. So first off, they added
it's not
TV.
the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. So the biggest thing that people pointed out is in the background, there's a giant banner that is blue with white text that says Wumpa League in the background. And we have no idea what that means. It just says Wumpa League. And that was not in the bonus stage. I checked and I looked. It was not there. Another thing that's really interesting is that there is that stoplight. There's a stoplight with 3 lights there. That was not there in the original level either. And then the third one that's really interesting is that there is a rug in front of them that is blue and circular that actually looks like the Beanox logo.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video right now. So far I've seen so I see the stoplight. I see the Beanox logo. Where do you see the banner? Oh, I see.
Do you see it now? It's in the top right. Yeah.
It looks like a cart, like a wood sign. So that's not just like draped over. That's like a set piece.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a set piece that was purposely put there.
Okay.
And we don't know. We're like, why? Why was it there? So there's been all this speculation and theory. And we're going to go even deeper. We're going to push it even deeper now. So on the back of the TV, there are 3 scratches.
Okay, yes. This is where I tuned in, and I was like,
yeah.
Well, hold on a minute.
yeah. It's like, wow, this is a little bit Looney Tunes, and I 100% acknowledge that it's Looney Tunes. But if we look at the back of the TV at the start, we see 3 scratches. We don't know what those are. We have no idea. But then at the end of the video, the 3 scratches are gone on the back of the TV. When they do the pan out, it's gone. And we don't know why.
No, they're still there.
Gone.
I see them.
No, they're gone.
Let me take a screenshot.
Let me see.
I mean, it is just Twitter compression, but I see it.
Maybe it's Twitter.
That's a dark blob on the back of that TV.
Yeah. So anyway, we see the 3 scratches. Then there's 2 buttons on the front, and then there's the light, and the light has 1 light on. So 3, 2, 1. So some people have been saying countdown, like a countdown, like 3, 2, 1, and it go. So some people are thinking Crash Bash. Some people are thinking CTR because you got 3, 2, 1, and you have the stoplight as if to go.
Yeah.
So that's been one point of view, but I went deep. I went deep on this. So we see the 3 scratches, right?
Right.
Then we go to the TV and there's 2 buttons. We cut back to Crash and Coco. Then we cut back to the TV again with the 2 buttons. We cut back to Crash and Coco. We cut back to the TV with 2 buttons again. And then we pan out after Crash cheers to the light. The 1 light is on. So if you put it in order, there was 3 scratches, 2 buttons on the TV, and 1 light on. The 3 scratches shows up once, the light on shows up once, and the 2 buttons on the TV shows up 3 times. And if you put it in order, the numbers go 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. And
3,
then
2, 2, 1. Okay.
3, 2, 2, 2, 1. If you put slashes in them,
it's March 2nd, 2021.
No, March 22nd,
2021. Okay.
Now this is tinfoil hat 100%.
I say, you keep going if there's more. Here, I'll add on to it. What's this rainbow sign in the corner?
The rainbow sign. Hold on, I didn't see the rainbow sign. 1 sec. Let me take a look at it. Yes, the rainbow means everything.
Yeah, the rainbow. I mean, okay, so it like we're getting into Half-Life 3
absolutely.
conspiracy. Because like I'm looking at the TV where it's Nathan Drake hanging, and I'm like, okay, there's 2 buttons on the TV. If you look at the background, there's 4 trees off in the distance, and then on the left, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees off in the distance.
Yeah. So just for clarification, if anyone, I'm half joking. But if something comes out on March 22nd, I don't care if it's Crash Bandicoot underwear line. I am taking this as a victory, and I am running in circles and saying, I don't care. I called it on March 22nd. I don't care. I'm calling victory. But I will say this. In all legitimacy, though, the thing that is confusing to me is the Wumpa League, the 1 light on, and the thing that kind of looks like a Beanox logo. And it makes me wonder and think, could it be a third-party game that's a spin-off of Crash Bandicoot game that's being developed by Beanox?
Yeah, I could see them doing another CTR game because they ended support of it. I don't think Crash Bash. I think that would be more of a mobile game perspective because no one nowadays, or free to play, but no one nowadays wants to be like, oh yeah, I gotta go to the store and buy the Crash Bandicoot party game. Like no one cares. You buy CTR for that. So Beanox, I could see them being the racing game developer. I know last week you were pretty like, all right, you've converted me to the side, to the conspiracy theory side.
Well, I can 100% understand if you don't.
With this, I'm like, there's stuff there, but like, counting the scratches and the buttons and the light and the sign and the rainbow sign and the carpet. Like,
it's 100% ridiculous. 150% ridiculous.
It's really funny. I'll say it's really funny. And I'm down for being like, oh yeah, dude, 3/22/2021, yeah, we're gonna get something, and I can see that happening.
If it does happen, my gosh, it's gonna be amazing. It is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'll don the tinfoil hat next week if I have to. But yeah, that was interesting. And also, I will say I did watch that video when it first came out, and the only thing I took away from that is, man, she's really mashing those buttons for a scripted sequence, huh? Crazy. Really make you feel like you're doing something, huh?
I know, eh? Thank you all so much for listening today. We really appreciate that you guys came by and took a listen. We know we're kind of going a little bit long today, but we really appreciate. If you're still here, especially on the YouTube premiere, you guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
love you.
So we love you. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. We are literally everywhere. We are on Apple Music. We are on Spotify. You can check us out anywhere that you listen to your regular podcast. We are likely there. Make sure to send little carrier pigeons with masks. We're still waiting for them. We're sure one day they'll show up. One day.
Even after COVID, they're still welcome with the masks.
Yes.
Like you said, we're on everything. If you have a phone and it has an audio app, we're probably on it. And as of today of recording this, I don't know when this is coming up, but as of today of recording this, I did launch the first part of our 2-part collab. It's over on my channel. The concept is gifting my childhood games for Christmas. And as of right now, we are sitting at 100 views, which is really, really good for just uploading it. So check that out if you haven't already. And part 2 will be on this channel soon-ish, whenever.
Soon-ish, whenever we can.
But yeah, that's everything. Anything else?
You can follow us over on Twitter at Canadian Guy A with the extra H, still looking for the imposter, and Shemp Official.
At Shemp Official, not the other one, the official one.
Yes. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.